Uh, Today we will study about the atypical cervical vertebrae. Mainly we will concentrate over the osteology of your atlas axis and the seven cervical vertebrae because they are the real atypical cervical vertebrae. So here we will have the quick revision and the points whatever you really want we will focus over here. So here you can see this is the cervical region. So this cervical region that you can see here of the total spine over here. So you can see the shape and curvature of the spine. So as you know that the cervical vertebrae there are seven in number. Uh, Actually among them you will find the first means the atlas, the axis, and the seventh one. They are not identical in nature. That's why they are atypical cervical vertebrae. So all these cervical vertebrae, the thoracic vertebrae, and the lumbar vertebrae, they actually protects the spinal cord within it. So they form a delicate column of bones having a wide range of mobility at their joint surface, and this is due to the fact that the first two cervical vertebrae, the atlas and the axis, have forms that differ significantly from other remaining five vertebrae uh, in the series, and these differentiation that arise as they become modified to provide the support and movement of the skull, and the remaining cervical vertebrae that show a lesser modified and lesser degree of mobility and have more uniform shapes, with few exceptions you will find. The cervical vertebrae can be readily distinguished by the presence of a foramen in the transverse process as a foramen transversarium. So this foramen transversarium, that is the unique feature of the cervical vertebrae. So here we will see the superior view of the atlas that you can see here. So the first cervical vertebrae is the atlas that you can see here. So what you'll find over here, that there is the absence of vertebral body in the first cervical vertebra. So here you will find there is the arch. So this arch is the posterior arch that you can see here, and very longer arch than the anterior arch. Here you can see the anterior arch. So at the anterior arch here you will find a tubercle. So this tubercle is the anterior tubercle uh, that is present over here. So this anterior tubercle that present at the anterior arch. Okay, then at this point you will find the posterior tubercle of the posterior arch, and here you will find the groove for the vertebral artery. So the vertebral artery that passes through this foramen that you can see here is a transverse foramen or foramen transversarium. That is, this is the unique feature in your cervical vertebrae, and here you will find the superior articular process that you can see here. So this superior articular process that is actually concave in nature, that you can see, and it faces upward and medially to articulate with the condylar process of the base of the skull at the nearer to the foramen magnum that you will find. Here at this point you will find the posterior tubercle. So here you will find the posterior tubercle of the costal processes, and at this point you will find the anterior tubercle of the costal processes. So this transverse process, it divides into bifurcates into two tubercles. Here the posteriorly the posterior tubercle and anteriorly anterior tubercle. This is the anterior view. If you will see the atlas from very front, then you can see that at this point you will find there is the presence of your inferior articular process. So the inferior articular process, and here you will find the superior articular process, and this is the anterior tubercle, and here you will find the lateral mass of the atlas, and here you will find this is the anterior arch. Okay. So if you will see the atlas from posterior view, then here you can see the posterior tubercle of the posterior arch, and here you will find this whole process is the posterior arch, and here you will find the groove for the vertebral artery. Here you will find the beginning of your third part of the vertebral artery, and here, as you know, this is the posterior tubercle of the costal processes. And here this is the lateral view of the atlas. So here you can see that at this point you will find the posterior tubercle of the posterior arch, and this is your posterior arch, and here you will find the superior articular process or the facet, and here you will find the lateral mass of the atlas, and here at this point you will find the inferior articular process or inferior articular facet. Then another bony feature, another bone is the axis bone. So at the axis, this is the superior view. So the unique feature of this axis is the presence of the dens, the odontoid process that is present only in the axis, that you will not find in other places. So here you will find the anterior part of the odontoid process or the dens, that actually the facet you will find over here. So this facet, it articulates with the posterior surface of anterior arch of the atlas, and here you will find the articular process. So this is the superior articular process, and here you will find the pedicle. So here you can see how the pedicle that connects from the lateral mass of the vertebrae to the spinous process over here. So this spinous process was absent in your atlas, but axis there is the presence of the spinous process. This is also another uniqueness of the atlas, and here you will find this is the lamina. So both the side will find the lamina. So this lamina that makes it runs backward and medially, and both the laminae, they unites together over here and forms the spinous process, and also forms the posterior arch over here, and this the body of the vertebra, and the odontoid process. All this forms a circle over here as a foramen. So this foramina is the vertebral foramen. So here you can see this vertebral foramen, that vertebral foramen passes your spinal artery, spinal vein, mainly the spinal cord that occupies most of the places over here. And here you can see this is your transverse process, and here you will see the inferior articular process or and the facet that you will find over here. Then this is the anterior view of the axis, that you can see how there is the presence of the facet, the anterior articular facet that you will find over here, and this is your groove for the uh, mm, vertebral artery, that will be present over here. And here you will find the superior articular process and also the facet. So it is convex in nature, uh, and it directed upward and laterally, that you can observe here. uh, and this one is the vertebral body. So the vertebral body is present in axis, but it is absent in your atlas, the uniqueness of the atlas. And that's why the atlas and axis, they are differ from each other, and that's why they are known as the atypical vertebrae. Now here you'll see the posterior view. So the posterior view, here you can see again the spinous process from posteriorly, that can be palpable. And here you will find the odontoid process, and this is the posterior part of the odontoid process. And here you will find the articular process, and here you will find the vertebral body and the anterior arch over here, and this is the posterior arch. This is the lateral view. So the lateral view, here you will find the odontoid process and again the superior articular process, and here you will find the foramen transversarium, and this is your transverse process of the axis. And here you will find the inferior vertebral notch, that you will find over here. And here you will find the superior vertebral arch or vertebral notch, that you will find. And here you will find the lamina. So both the laminae, they unites together over here and forms here the spinous process, and this is the odontoid process or the dens. Okay, then here we will see the ligaments that is connected to the atlas and axis, that you can see the these are the body of the vertebrae. This is the body of the vertebrae, and in between the body of the vertebrae you will find the intervertebral disc over here. So this is the sagittal section we have taken. And so here you can find that most anteriorly, whole over the vertebral column, that actually bind by a ligament. So this ligament is the anterior longitudinal ligament, that will find whole over the vertebral column and the spine. And here at the uh, posterior part, you will find in pink color, you can see the posterior longitudinal ligament. So this is also you will find whole over the spine. And here you will find the uh, lamina of the vertebrae. So from laminae to the laminae, there you will find another type of ligament. So this ligament is known as the ligamentum flavum. And here you will find the spinous process, the cord section of the spinous process. So from the spinous process to the spinous process, there you will find the interspinal ligament or interspinous ligament, that you will find over here. And here at the tip of the spinous process, you will find here the presence of your ligamentum nuchae or nuchal ligament. So this nuchal ligament, actually it is the uniqueness for the cervical vertebrae. And here you will find this nuchal ligament starting from the external occipital protuberance, and coming downward as the spinous process is bifid, it lodges inside the groove of the spinous process and up to the C7 cervical vertebrae, and it attaches to the tip of the C7 cervical vertebrae. What we find, this ligament actually it also gives attachment to the trapezius muscle and the rhomboideus muscle. Like that, here you will find the relation of the cervical vertebrae, that the foramen transversarium is over here. So here you will find the foramen transversarium, and here you will find the right subclavian artery, one of the branch, that is the vertebral artery, will sprout out from this subclavian artery and will ascend upward. But this vertebral artery, that is only passes through the foramen transversarium from C6 onwards. So you will find C6, C5, C4, C3 and C2 and the C1. So this is the second part of the vertebral artery that passes through this foramen transversarium. And also you will find here the venous plexus, the vertebral venous. So the vertebral artery and vertebral vein that passes through it. And here you can find out that this is the spinous process and this is the body. So in between the superior and inferior vertebral arch, here when they articulate to each other, here it forms a foramen. So this foramen is your intervertebral foramen. So from the intervertebral foramen, here the relation you will find that the spinal nerves, they are actually coming out of the spinal cord through this intervertebral foramen. So this intervertebral foramen, it contains the spinal nerves. That is also the relation of the cervical vertebrae. And here another thing that you will find that the vertebral artery that actually that is not passing through the C7 cervical vertebrae. That's why that is another uniqueness of the C7. Only the vein, vertebral vein, passes through the foramen transversarium of C7. And here at the C6 level, here you will find a tubercle at the C6, that is also a uniqueness of the cervical vertebrae, which compresses can be compressed to this vertebral artery and will cause the ischemia. That's why this tubercle is known as the carotid tubercle. That is one of the uniqueness of the cervical vertebrae. So here in atlas you will find the uniqueness of the superior articular process and the condylar process of the base of the skull. They articulates over here and makes the atlanto-occipital joint. So that makes the ES movement. So ES movement or the anterior posterior movement can be done here at the atlanto-axial joint. And another thing that you will find the another uniqueness of the atlas and the axis that you will find here, that the atlas and the axis, they articulate with each other by the superior articular process and of the axis and the inferior articular process of the atlas. But along with that you will find that the odontoid process that also articulates with the axis by the anterior arch of the axis, and that is actually stapled by a ligament. That ligament will be the transverse cervical ligament. So the transverse cervical ligament that gives stabilization to the odontoid process. And from the tip of the odontoid process you will find both the side of the odontoid process you will find two ligaments as a alar ligament, and at the tip or the apex of the odontoid process you will find another ligament. So that ligament will be the apical ligament. Then here you will find the seventh cervical vertebrae. So here you can see the seventh cervical vertebrae that actually has a prominent spine, and the longest spine you will find over here, that you can see. And here this spinous process that is not bifid in nature, but other cervical vertebrae, they are bifid in nature. This uniqueness of the prominent spinous process, the seventh cervical vertebrae, is also known as the vertebra prominens. The another name for the seventh cervical vertebrae is the vertebral prominens. The tip of the spinous process that can be easily palpable at the back of the spine, and that is another landmark to count the cervical vertebrae. So most prominent part of the cervical vertebrae is the C7, and from upward you will find the C6, C5, C4, C3, C2, C1, and below you can count the T1, T2, T3, T4. And another uniqueness of this C7 cervical vertebra that every cervical vertebra they have their spinal nerves as a segmented spinal nerves C1 to C6, but here at the C7 cervical vertebra you will find two sets of the spinal nerves. Above to the C7 vertebra you will find the C7 spinal nerve, and below to the C7 vertebra you will find the C8 spinal nerve that is present only in the C7 cervical vertebrae. And another peculiarity that you will find that through the foramen transversarium that I already have told you, only the venous plexus and the vertebral vein passes through the foramen transversarium. But in other foramen transversarium, other cervical vertebrae, you will find both the vertebral artery and the vertebral vein that passes through the foramen transversarium. The dens and the pedicle of the axis that is very much clinically important, because if you will find any sudden road traffic accident will be there, or any hyper extended position the person fell down, then the odontoid process will break down and may compress the spinal cord, and that can cause the fatal effect. So the fracture of the odontoid process or the dens suddenly that will actually rupture the uh, posterior longitudinal ligament, and can compress to the spinal cord, and that will become paralysis of the upper limb as well as the lower limb, makes the quadriplegia. In the hangman's fracture, that you'll find that the pedicle which is in the axis is very long and thin. So if someone is hanged, then you'll find this pedicle will be break down, and the axis, the dens of the axis will be posteriorly dislocated and will compress the spinal cord. So here we have completed the cervical vertebrae, the osteology, and the attachment and the relation of the cervical vertebrae, especially the atypical cervical vertebrae. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe and press the bell icon to get the new videos, because from now onwards daily we will upload the quick revision of the head and neck and neuroanatomy sections. So thanks for watching.